This is Radio Romania International. You are listening to our one-hour broadcast in English for listeners in Western Europe and Africa. We can also be heard on the internet at www.rri.ro, Channel 1. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and other social media platforms. Our programs are also available on TuneIn and via satellite Eurosat 16A on 11,512 MHz vertical polarization, azimuth 16 degrees east, symbol rate 29,950 megasymbols per second, standard DVB as 2, modulation 8 PSK, audio PID 510. We wish you good reception conditions.
Hello, I'm Cristina Mateescu with the news. First, the headlines. Tunisia is playing host to the 18th Francophonie Summit, attended by representatives of the 54 members of the International Organization of the Francophonie, including Romania, as well as 30 observer countries. The participants in the UN Climate Change Summit in Egypt are today having unscheduled talks, hoping to reach an agreement on ways to help the countries worst hit by the consequences of global warming. And most Asia-Pacific leaders condemned the war in Ukraine in the final declaration of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit held in Bangkok. The Tunisian island of Djerba is hosting the 18th Francophonie Summit, attended by representatives of the 54 members of the International Organization of the Francophonie, including Romania, as well as 30 observer countries. The previous meeting of the Club of French-speaking countries was in 2018 in Armenia, with the 2020 summit cancelled because of the pandemic and last year's postponed because of the political crisis in Tunisia. The theme of the main conference is Connectivity in Diversity, Digital Technology, a vector for development and solidarity in the French-speaking world. The meeting of the heads of state and government in the Francophone world is a community of shared values in the service of dialogue in an international context marked by crisis and the risk of a new division in the world, notes a statement from the French President's office. Conferences and cultural and artistic events for the general public are also taking place for a week, with each country having its own pavilion. The participants in the UN Climate Change Summit in Egypt are today having unscheduled talks, hoping to reach an agreement on ways to help the countries worst hit by the consequences of the global warming. The European Union proposed the creation of a fund to compensate for the losses and damages suffered by the most vulnerable countries, and wants China to also contribute. EU officials said they would like to widen the pool of donor states. Under over 30-year-old UN rules, states like India and China are considered developing countries, so they do not contribute to financial matters. The European Union also wants to ensure that countries most in need of the money also receive this money, but under a plan put forward by the Union, countries like Pakistan, where this year's flooding caused damages of $30 billion, do not qualify for funding. Most leaders in the Asia-Pacific region condemned the war in Ukraine in the final declaration of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in Bangkok, thus joining the chorus of international pressure on Russia. After a day and a half of talks, the 21 APEC members agreed on a declaration that criticizes the conflict and the global economic disruptions caused by the Russian military aggression in Ukraine. The declaration also deplores the impact of the conflict in Ukraine on economic growth, inflation, the supply channels, and energy and food security. The participants stood for free and fair trade in the Asia-Pacific area. The United States, which was represented at the summit by Vice President Kamala Harris, took over the APEC rotating presidency for the next year. The next summit will be held in San Francisco on the 12th of November 2023. The League of Romanian Students Abroad kick-started the League's worldwide conference project, which consists of a series of events held in 4 European capitals of countries which are the main destinations for study for young Romanians: the UK, the Netherlands, France and Italy. In the UK, the Romanian Students, Professors and Researchers Conference will mark the National Day of Romania and will award the Ambassador's Diploma. In France, the League brings together the Romanian students and professionals working in this country via the project Bridges, which aims to maintain an active link between the two groups throughout the academic year. In the Netherlands, the Romanian networking event allows Romanian students to attend workshops given by human resources professionals, helping them build successful careers. The event organized by the League in Italy aims to retrace the steps of important Romanian figures in this country. The worldwide conference project is carried out with help from the Department for Romanians Abroad. The multimedia performance entitled The Story of the Romanian Blouse, held in celebration of 100 years of diplomacy and of the National Day of Romania on the 1st of December, will be presented on the 23rd of November at the UNESCO Main Hall in Paris. A production of the Bucharest National Opera and Ballet and Orchestra, the performance has an orchestral and a choreographic part. The introductory orchestral program is focused on highlighting Romanian traditional music through various reinterpretations. This will be followed by a dance performance with a soundtrack composed for this occasion. The Story of the Romanian Blouse is organized by the Bucharest National Opera in partnership with Romania's permanent delegation at UNESCO, and is an opportunity to promote Romania's image and to reaffirm its commitment to multilateralism and the values and principles of the United Nations. And that's the news.